The car. Charlie is the car's name.
Okay, that's cool.
My great-great-uncle Charlie was the one that bought the car in 1937. He was a fire chief in Los Altos, and so I'm guessing that's why. The spotlight is attached to the hood, and my grandmother bought it from his estate in 1960 for 50 bucks. In 1982, my grandparents restored the car for the 50th anniversary of the Golden Gate Bridge opening.
Oh, wow.
So we have pictures of her crossing the bridge in that 50th anniversary celebration.
You know, one of the things we always try to determine is a purchase price.
The original purchase price for this model of Dodge back in '37 was between $1,200 and $1,500.
Do you know how much money's been put into Charlie?
I know the restoration was around $15,000.
Well, that only leaves us with one question. What do you think the car is worth now?
My thought is probably between $6,000 and $8,000.
Why don't we bring in our expert Addison and let her have a crack at putting a value on this beautiful little Dodge.
Hi, Addison.
Nice to meet you. You ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, for starters, your car has 4 doors. 2 doors too many, unless they're suicide. So
they're suicide.
Suicide doors. A plus because they're collectible. If they're not suicide, 4-door cars really do not have much value. I can see that the interior has been redone, and it is in great condition. This car has some very amazing features for a 37. The ashtray, the lighter. I love that this clock is still here.
And it still works.
That's a huge value add. So the steering wheel has this really cool Art Deco Dodge Ram. It's very unique. The beginning of the Ram, so what has currently led to Dodge Ram. The steering wheel is the banjo style. The fact that you have the original steering wheel is great. That's a big value add. It's in great condition. Everything in here is actually in great condition. Not excellent, but you have all of the pieces that needed to be here. And the car obviously has been maybe kept in the family.
Yes,
that's
since new.
The case. And year after year, well maintained. One of the things also that Dodge has started, they added safety features in 37. And when they said safety features, they padded the back of the back seat. So when they stopped abruptly, you had a little padding, not like today. It looks like you've got seat belts. That was probably a later add-on for safety. So those are not original, not necessarily a deduction in value. The rest of your car seems very original, and you've stuck with a theme. A lot of these get hot rodded. Are you ever going to hot rod it?
No.
No.
Not me.
No. All right, well, let's button it up. This was an economy car. I think the slogan even was save money, drive a Dodge. So we don't see a whole lot of chrome or bright work on the car, but what we do have is in decent condition. A lot of times these get really pitted, and yours is in good shape. The paint, it's a little patchy, so that's going to be a deduction. This should be taped off properly and painted properly. Can we look under the hood?
Sure.
Okay. Woo! Original engine, I'm assuming.
It's original.
Could definitely use a little maintenance, but the fact that it is the original is great. That is a value. The 218 inline 6 with a 1-barrel Stromberg carburetor. She's not getting you to the grocery store very quickly, is she? No. I see some wiring over here. Don't love that. Looks like the AT&T store guy wired this in a hurry. Not a high-performance vehicle. It was an economy car, and that's what it was used for back in the day. And I like that you have maintained the originality and kept everything intact. All the pieces are here. That always helps value that you have a car this age still intact. I'd love to hear you start it, and we'll listen to that 90 horsepower engine hum. Ooh. All right, you can shut her down, and let's get underneath and see what we're working with.
Very cool. I've never been underneath Charlie.
Charlie?
Charlie, yes. Uncle Charlie was the original owner.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, Charlie has definitely been restored. We can see the frame has been repainted and the belly pan has been repainted. This car has had a frame-off restoration. Restorations, there's all different levels. Frame-off means the car is completely apart. That's as big as you can get and the most expensive. This is a value add, the fact that it has been restored. Interesting The radio antennas are underneath the running boards on each side, and that was a feature that they did in the 30s. Didn't really carry on, but that's a really cool piece of history, and these antennas are really hard to find.
Have you seen enough underneath?
I've seen enough.
I want to recap real quick. Now, we had a original purchase price around $1,200 to $1,500. When I asked you what the value of the vehicle would be, you said around 6 to 8.
Yeah.
Okay, turn to your right and let's see what Addison has to say.
So your 37 Dodge was an economy car at the time. It was mass produced. So that kind of just establishes a value point that's not going to be very high as, you know, a low production, high performance car. There's a few things that along the way may have started to age. The paint's a little bit older. That's a little bit of a deduction. But it has a lot of positives about the car. It's been well maintained. It's been in your family for a long time. All the pieces are here. It has had that frame off restoration, and that is a ton of money in today's market to do. So the fact that has been done very much contributes to my valuation. So I will value your car between $12,000 and $14,000.
Wow, that's a lot more than I expected. That's great. I was nervous when Addison was going through the details because I know Charlie has his faults, and so it was exciting to hear what she had to say.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Well, that's all that counts.
I love Charlie. Charlie is the way I get to share my grandparents. When my niece asked to be driven at her wedding in Charlie, it was having my grandparents at her wedding. So it was very, very special.
Let's bring it up on the left.
In 1908, the Ford Model T became America's first affordable mass-produced car. The low cost was made possible by assembly line production. 1916 was the last year of the brass radiator shell. By the time Model T production ended in 1927, over 15 million had been made.
Tell me the story, my friend.
Basically, Grandpa died in 1974, and we lost Grandpa's Model T. 25 years later, my mom had the business card of the person who bought it.
Wow.
So Mom called the guy, still had the same phone number, and he says, "Oh, I love that car. I had it for 10 years. I sold it to a relative." She called that man. "Oh, I love that car. I had it for 6 years. Sold it to another relative." She called that man. The man says, "Yep, I got it. As a matter of fact, your dad's first name is Lewis, isn't it?" My mom says, "Yes, it's Lewis Crocker. How did you know his first name?" The man said, "His junk is still in the back of the car with his name on it." So Mom knew she had the right car.
You're kidding me. So his stuff, after all those years and all those owners, is still in the car.
Exactly. And so, like, it was the proof of the pudding. But the man says the car's not for sale, hangs up the phone. She calls him every day for 2 weeks. And finally, after 2 weeks, the man says, "Lady, promise me you'll never call me again, and I'll sell it to you."
What was the car purchased back for after all that persistence?
Actually, I don't know.
Really?
Mom never told me.
What was the condition of the car? Was it as we see it now?
No, it wasn't even close. There's over $30,000 in this car.
Okay. What kind of number would you put on this particular Model T in value?
Model Ts that are running and functioning on the road are going to gather $15,000 and better.
All right, well, I got to introduce you to somebody very special that will love and share Model T stories until the cows come home.
He's not only an expert, but he has owned 5 Model Ts himself.
Let's bring in Randy.
How you doing? Randy
pleasure.
Carlson.
I'm Steve.
Very nice to meet you, Steve. I mean, you are not only a Model T owner, you're living it.
I love it.
And I love
It's my
that.
life.
This is obviously brass era.
1916 Model T,
Okay.
right? But this is a driver. As a matter of fact, I have well more than 22,000 miles on this car.
That's incredible. Having a T that is driven